Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness promises to rewrite everything we know about the MCU, but it also has the chance to bring back new versions of dearly missed characters. Who might we see again out there in the multiverse? Let's discuss. When Tom Holland's Spider-Man was brought to the MCU, there was one key character missing from the webhead's backstory. Of course, I'm talking about good old Uncle Ben, who taught Peter that all-important lesson regarding power and responsibility. Look, we both know that you know which one I'm talking about. The MCU wisely sidestepped introducing Uncle Ben because, let's face it, there's only so many times we can see him get shot. And the MCU had an excellent replacement in Tony Stark, so there wasn't a need for the Uncle Ben character. But let's be real. Without Uncle Ben, Spidey's story doesn't feel as complete as it should. But the multiverse can fix that. We've never got to see a scenario of what would have happened if Uncle Ben lived. Would Peter still become Spider-Man? Or would he just be a kid using his powers for his own personal gain? And because Sam Raimi is helming the Doctor Strange sequel, having Uncle Ben in it doesn't seem like too far of a stretch. The man knows Spider-Man pretty well after all. The multiverse introducing the MCU's Ben Parker will finally allow audiences to put a face to a name and show us the man who was lucky enough to marry the MCU's Aunt May. Look, I don't want to rewrite Tony's Endgame ending or anything like that. As heartbroken as I am that Tony won't be around anymore to quip at people and create dangerous technology that falls into enemy hands, I know that his sacrifice against Thanos was necessary, and bringing him back from the dead would undermine the emotional weight of that moment. But that is the beauty of the multiverse. It can allow us to see characters that have perished on our world living a different life without tainting their original memory. And that is why it is so important to have the multiverse bring back Tony Stark. It doesn't have to be for anything major, but if Doctor Strange jumped to a different universe where Tony was alive and living happily ever after with Pepper and Morgan, then that would be satisfactory. We'd love that 3000. But if they really wanted to bring Tony back in full Iron Man force, our heroes could need a vital piece of technology that only Tony Stark could make and be forced to travel to a different universe in order to get it from him. Maybe that's a stretch, but I'm dying to see Goatee Brothers Doctor Strange and Tony Stark together in the same scene once again. Okay, I know what you're thinking. The Hulk hasn't gone anywhere. We last saw him snapping his fingers and suddenly becoming left-handed in the fight against Thanos. But overall, it's safe to say that it looks like the actual Hulk is gone forever. Because we all know that Bruce Banner and Hulk are two separate personalities. The movies have made that abundantly clear. Throughout all of his appearances in the MCU, Bruce has been at war with the other guy and trying to find a way to cohabitate with him with mixed results. That changed in Endgame, where we saw Bruce explain that he merged the two of them together so his mind could be in Hulk's body. But the big question coming from that is, what happened to Hulk's personality? Is that truly gone forever? The multiverse could answer that question. I know it's a long shot, but how great would it be if we saw a bizarro version of Professor Hulk, where instead of Banner's mind in Hulk's body, it was Hulk's mind in Banner's body? I don't even want to imagine that absolute craziness. But it would be so much fun to see Mark Ruffalo acting like a brute in human form. I just really miss the original Hulk. Don't worry, when I say the multiverse could bring back Thanos, I don't mean in a way where he's going to destroy half the universe again. I could not handle seeing all our heroes go through all that a second time. But the multiverse isn't just used to show us the same characters, it can be utilized to give us a glimpse of what these characters might have become if circumstances were different, and that is always fascinating. When it comes to the Mad Titan, we've only known him as a guy obsessed with finding the Infinity Stones and spouting rhetoric relating to how inevitable he is. But is he truly inevitable? I would love to see a multiverse version of Thanos that never lost his home world. Like, what if the people on Titan listened to Thanos and successfully saved their planet? Would that have satisfied Thanos, or would he have found another reason to quest after the Infinity Stones? It would answer the ultimate question of whether Thanos was driven to madness, or if that madness was always in him to begin with. If he truly was a victim of circumstance, maybe there's a universe out there where Thanos is actually a hero. Wouldn't that be cool to see? Alright, let's not beat around the bush. The multiverse is weird. Like, super weird. Doctor Strange could literally travel to universes where shoes are used for hats, cats are actually nice to humans, and the Hulk is bright blue rather than green. And speaking of weird things and the color blue, why not let the multiverse bring back a weird blue character who normally operates in the MCU's wildest franchise? I'm talking about the one and only Yondu. When Yondu perished at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we all said goodbye to Mary Poppins and his awesome arrow mohawk. But that doesn't mean Yondu is gone in every other universe. It'd be great to see Michael Rooker as Yondu again, even if it is in an alternate universe. And it could actually serve the story pretty well too. Like, we could see the original comic book version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, meaning seeing a team consisting of Yondu, Vance Astro, Captain Charlie 27, and others acting as the Guardians of the Galaxy instead of the newer team of Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, and the others. It would be a great way to give longtime comic fans something to cheer about without disrupting the established continuity. Not every character needs to come back to the multiverse just because we missed them, but they could also fill a vital role in explaining just what the heck is going on. And that's why the Ancient One would be a great character that the multiverse can bring back. Because let's face it, the multiverse is going to make things super complicated, and audiences are going to need someone to explain how the multiverse works and how it functions. And there is no better character for that job than Tilda Swinton's The Ancient One. Not only is the whole different dimensions thing totally within her mystical wheelhouse, but we already know she can fill a role like this. In Avengers Endgame, she was the one who explained to Bruce Banner what plucking the Infinity Stones out of time would do and the consequences that would occur if the stones weren't put back in the proper place. So it would make a lot of sense to have her be the character to explain all the wonders and dangers of the multiverse. On top of that, bringing her back would give Doctor Strange a chance to say a proper goodbye to the character and give closure to a relationship that deserved more screen time. The end of Avengers Endgame brought with it a fierce debate about what exactly happened with Captain America. Did he go back in time in the same timeline and live his life with Peggy, or did he jump dimensions and settle down in a different timeline? Both options bring head-scratching questions that make my brain hurt. If it was our original timeline, does that mean that Captain America sat out all the horrifying events that threatened the world and was Sharon Carter's uncle?
I know, right?
Or if it was a different timeline, how did he get back to our original timeline to talk with the Falcon? So many questions! But that's something that's great about the multiverse. Not only is it a chance to see characters that are gone, but it could also resolve these types of plot holes. We could see our original Captain America in a different universe living with Peggy, and that would answer the question that's been dividing fans since the movie was released. If they really wanted to be clever, they could have Doctor Strange give Captain America the power to go back to the original universe, and then that mystery will be completely solved. Come on, multiverse, fix this plot hole for us! One of the most exciting aspects of the multiverse is how it's going to open up the MCU in ways that seemed impossible before. If you look at it, the concept of a multiverse is the best way to reintroduce the idea of mutants and the X-Men into the MCU, and therefore bringing back those beloved characters into our lives after a few years of disappointing Fox X-Men movies. This is absolutely the best way to do it, and the biggest hint that this will be the movie that brings the X-Men into the fold is how Scarlet Witch is the co-lead of this sequel. Why would they do that? It's not like Doctor Strange and Wanda have any sort of connection, but I imagine they're putting her in the movie because in the comics, she's originally a mutant. Her most famous storyline is the House of M, where she gets rid of all the mutants. But what if the MCU flips that story on its head, where actually Scarlet Witch is responsible for creating mutants or bringing them over to our universe instead? That would be a clever twist on that monumental storyline and bring great things to the MCU in the future. If there was ever a way to bring in mutants, the multiverse is the key. As excited as I am about the Black Widow prequel movie, ultimately, it's gonna make me a little sad that Natasha is gone in the present-day timeline. But the multiverse will give us a chance to get her back for at least a little while longer. I think the best way to use the multiverse to see Black Widow again is to explore a universe where she wasn't successful in her sacrifice, and Hawkeye was ultimately the one to take that swan dive off the Vormir cliffs. The way that fight was going, either one of them could have ended up jumping, and it would be fascinating to see how things would have turned out if Black Widow was the one to walk away with the Soul Stone. Or another option the multiverse could explore is, what if Black Widow never turned into a good guy? Would she still be one of the top assassins in the world and work as an enemy of the Avengers? Not only would it give us the chance to see a new side of Black Widow's performance, but it could also show us how dysfunctional the Avengers would be without Black Widow fighting with them. She is one of the anchors of the team, after all. So Scarlet Witch is going to play a big role in the Doctor Strange sequel, which is a great thing. She's probably the Avenger who deserves the most character development given how powerful she is, and I can't wait for an MCU movie that gives her more to do. And because she's playing such a vital role, it's only natural to assume the multiverse could bring back someone important from her past. Quicksilver never got a fair shake in the MCU. He debuted right at a time when Fox's own version of the character became a fan favorite, so it was hard to escape that particular shadow. And then he didn't survive the Battle of Sokovia in Age of Ultron, sacrificing himself to save Hawkeye. The multiverse could not only develop this Quicksilver and give us valuable insight into who he is, but also use him to explore the connection between Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and their father Magneto. It would be another way for the MCU to slowly incorporate the X-Men into Phase 4 and beyond, and it all starts with Quicksilver. Now, the big question is, when he comes back, will he still have his Age of Ultron accent, or will he have dropped it like Scarlet Witch did in later movies? The multiverse is going to shake the MCU to its very core, and that should make all of us fans super happy. So what character do you want to see again in the multiverse? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more awesome MCU content. Thanks for watching CBR.